Morning, everyone. My goodness. I don't know what's going on here, but YouTube's telling me to do all kinds of stuff just to go live. So it says rotation is locked. Oh, I see. Okay, so I need to. There it is. So if I unlock it. Alright, let me see. Rotation orientation is locked. What? Hi, Karen. Wow, let me see. Hi, Adolf. Hi, Mark. Yeah, I want to go this way, but it says orientation is locked. Rotate device back. I don't want to rotate the device back. Let me see. Why is it not letting me? Oh, I see it. I saw it. Bluetooth, auto rotate. Sorry about that. I have no idea. It looks fine. Yeah, but it's not gonna work here unless I wanted to set it on a tripod. Maybe if I go to Good morning, Bull Gun. I'm reading. I would be looking at you guys, except for I'm reading the text. I can barely read it. Let me see here. So this kind of helps. Yeah, there we go. Everybody looks clear now. Hey. Yeah, so sorry about all the moving around. I meant to put it on a tripod because I kind of want to talk about stuff. I'm back and I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna do all kinds of crazy stuff and this is the way it goes, huh? Yeah, I need my readers too. Kind of sucks, huh? So somewhere, I think it's this one. Aha, there we go. Can I go like that now? I can't. What in the world? Okay, so, well, let me see here if I can do this correctly. I don't know why it doesn't want me to do that. It did it yesterday. It let me do it yesterday. Yeah, it did. Okay, let me see if I can get it in there. There we go. There we go. Okay, so yesterday I was talking about this. Remember that? Let me see if I got it. Yeah, remember that? And and hi everybody. I'm not going to be able to read the chat like this, but I'm going to do some squatchy, leathery things, and I collected a bunch of things to put on leather, and I want to make some things that I can sell that you guys will buy, and I don't want to sell them for a lot of money, okay? I want to make them reasonably priced because that's the way I am. And if I could give them away, I would give them away, you guys. But I need to make a little money, and I don't like YouTube's way of making money, and I don't like the other people on YouTube's way of making money. But yesterday, I created something. This is for my buddy Louie, and I am going to line it with calf skin on the back. So back here, I'm going to put calf skin on it, and I probably shouldn't have punched holes. Let me see here. I probably shouldn't have punched holes in it yet, but I can punch through this into the calf skin, so it'll have calf skin lined on this. But this is a guitar strap, and I wanted to show you what all I can do here. And I could do key rings and leathers and wallets, clutch purses, belts, guitar straps, knife sheaths, holsters, you name it. And then down here, like, I thought, well, that's pretty corny, you know. I just put a bunch of corny stuff on it, and but then I'm gonna put I, and guess what? Guess what comes under I? I believe. That's what it's gonna say right here. And this is the part that hooks onto the guitar at the bottom. So this is the front, and then your shoulder is right here, and this goes down behind you, like kind of like that. But I don't know how much will be able to be seen when they're actually wearing it. But I thought that was pretty cool, especially if I put I believe, and then it makes all this make sense right here. At least that's what I think. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys this, and I knew I couldn't do it holding the camera, so I had to put it in on a little tripod thing. But I want to make these things. I want to make these things, and I didn't do a really good job of stamping it down. I'll go back and smooth it all out. But I think it's really cool. There was no light when I was doing this. It was kind of late. And this one may not be the one I give you, Louie. Actually, it's like a practice thing. And then I'm going to punch holes all along this line right here, so that when I glue the calf skin on the back, I can sew it. So it'll all be hand sewn, and then I'll sew around each of these strap adjustment holes, so that over time, because you glue it together and it's pretty much one piece once you do the glue job, but that can, you know, as you move the strap in and out, the adjustment strap, it can come apart. The laminated pieces of leather can come apart. So I'll hand stitch around each one of those all the way around. And then I'll probably put one stitch line right here, so that when this opens up, it won't keep ripping. Anyways, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Let me see if I can turn this back. Let's see. I know there's a way. There we go. All right, so here we are. Let me see, and this is a lot easier this way, it looks like, than I don't know why it won't let me do the, I don't know why it won't let me do the camera angle. They call it the other way, sideways. I like it sideways better. But good morning, Jan. Oh, look, the chat's going a long time. I don't know why. Let me see. Sweet, Mark. I can do that. I sure will. I like doing knife sheaths. Ah, no, you can't do that, man. Come on. A custom knife is a, do you make knives? That's an interesting thing. Good morning, Winner. How are you? I hope you're doing well. But yeah, so I'm thinking of ways, like, I actually am financially okay, you know, but I want to do a lot of things Squatch wise, and like I want to buy a dually. I used to have a dually, had a Chevy dually with a 454 and a camper, and I went all over the place. When I got hurt, I kind of lost everything, right? Even my income for a long time. And I don't have the kind of income where I could buy anything. I mean, I can survive and have enough money to go out to dinner occasionally. But of course, you know, the government, they rather you die than pay you what you paid in your whole working life. They don't, and then they keep borrowing. Like, I don't even think that the money that we paid into Social Security, I don't even think it's there anymore. And okay, then it, the last live I was talking about Damascus steel, dude. That's freaking awesome. That would be awesome. I'm like a knife and gun, actually a weapon person. A lot of people doesn't don't know that back when I was young, real young, I took a lot of self-defense classes that my dad kind of had me doing. He wanted to teach me self-discipline. So at a young age, he wanted us to learn self-defense, and then he was a Marine major a major in the Marine Corps, and then a pilot, and then he was a sheriff, right, a deputy, a sergeant, and so all my life, guns. That I mean, I had my first 22 rifle when I was like 5 years old, and by the time I was 12, I had a shotgun and a 6mm. By the time I was 17, I had a 30-06. And then I shot all the slew of guns, that we had, 300 H&H, 270s, 30-30, lever action, 1911, 45, an old one too, like a war model, all kinds of pistols, 9mm, and we reloaded for everything. The only thing we didn't reload was shotguns. But then also, I was an expert with the staff, a staff fighting, the batons. I used to train for 9 years. I taught the baton class, mace, CS gas, handcuffing techniques, takedown techniques, arrest procedures, all that, for a long time. So like weapons and me go way back, and I love them. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, the government doesn't take care of us, man. They absolutely want us dead, dude, for reals. And I probably will lose. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I'm doing great. I'm actually doing great. And normally I would make like a little Facebook video. That's actually the last video I uploaded. That's actually what I was doing. I made a little video for Facebook, and I thought, screw Facebook. I'm gonna go on here with my friends, my family, my Squatchin family, and I'm gonna start doing that. But I would only make like a 3-minute little Facebook video, and I've only been doing that for a couple of days, maybe 5 days. And I thought, no way, man, I'm gonna get on here with my friends. But anyways, last time I was live, I talked about starting a Rumble channel. Well, I started a Rumble channel. I have, and it's the same name as my YouTube, because I already had an account that I didn't realize I made it a long time ago. So there's the Squatch Zone on Rumble. I don't have anything on it. And then my grandkids call me. Jeez, man, I tell you, one day I'm going to move back to the mountains because I can't handle the traffic over here. I've been here a little over 20 years and I still can't handle the traffic. After living on my own acres up in the hills where it was totally quiet except for chickens and coyotes, Oh man, I love feeling better. It is so nice to be like standing here. I'm standing up right now and doing great. I took the grandkid to school. But anyways, I started the Rumble channel, so I'm gonna start putting some content on the Rumble channel. My grandkids call me Papa Squatch, and they make shirts, T-shirts for me that say Papa Squatch. I wonder if that thing's moving. No, okay. So so that's I I I just created the Rumble channel inside of my already account called Squatch Zone, which I've been using for a dozen years. That name, Squatch Zone. I never checked to see if anybody else did. And then everybody else, all my kids and grandkids call me Papa Squatch, so that's the name I put on there is Papa Squatch. So I'll start putting content on there and start going live on there so that we could talk about things that we can't talk about here, which is some of the things I really want to talk about because it's irritating me no end. And I'm actually getting a little ticked off at people. We're so complacent. Like, I don't get it. How much crap do we have to endure before we get ticked off enough to put our foot down and say enough, right? Has anyone had enough yet? I've been up to my neck with enough probably for the last, like, a year before COVID. Yeah, the kids, I got like 20 grandkids or something like that, and a couple of great grandkids now. I mean, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And I noticed, I go back on the videos. I was going back when Jeff and I were doing live stream. And did you know that we had like 200,000 subscribers on live stream? I mean, we're pretty. That was back in the day when hardly anyone was a content creator, what they call now. We didn't even know what that was back in the day. But yeah, we had like 275,000 subscribers back a long time ago. Maybe 8 or 9 years ago. Maybe 10 years ago, I don't know. See, yes. Wow, 58. You're a young spring chicken. Actually, I'm not much older than that, really. I'm 64. In fact, when I turned 64, when I woke up in the morning and I had a song in my head, and it was the Beatles. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? And I started singing it to my wife. She goes, "What? I never fed you." Like, what are you talking about? And she never did, really. No, I'm just kidding. She'd kill me if she heard me say that. But yeah, and I think about it, about getting old, and that's actually why I want to start doing the leather and selling things with, and I've been making leather things, and nobody's really interested in custom leather, hand tooled, one of a kind. Even if I made the same thing, it's one of a kind because I'm not a machine. Just Mark knows every knife he makes, probably he can't make it exactly the same. So each one is the only one in the world like it. It might be minor change from the other one, but it is the only one like it in the world. But then this is going to be the only one in the world like it also, right? And this is about how it's going to go, just like this. I remember Felton. That was cool, man. Those are good times back then. It was good times. Yeah, each one totally unique. And if I have my way about it, I'm not going to do the same pattern unless requested. But I'm all about earning. I mean, content creation is cool and all that, but I don't know. I feel like a car salesman or some, greasy dude if I have to, like, prostitute things, like, hey, real quick, let's go to my sponsor, blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't want sponsors. If I'm going to sponsor anything, I'm going to sponsor my own stuff, my own self, and you know, I don't. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't make me angry, or I won't. I'm not going to stop watching people that do that. I'm just going to say how many people are going to do that. You know, I mean, almost everybody on YouTube. And then the one that really gets me, and I know, you know, I'm talking to you, right? I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You see me right there? I'm talking to you. But when I'm talking to you, I'm not looking at you, but I am looking at you, really, right? I'm looking at you because that's I see you guys in there. I cannot handle people that look at their self when they're talking to me. You know, it's almost like the joke that I heard way back when about accountants. You know, when you met an extroverted accountant, they look at your shoes when they're talking to you, right? That's an extroverted accountant. He looks at your shoes when he talks to you. Yeah, so are all these people looking at themselves? They're not introverted, they're vain, right? Oh, is my hair? Oh, how's my hair? Oh, yeah. Oh, look at these wrinkles. Oh, my God, I should change the camera. Yeah. Like, seriously, people? Come on, you know. Talk to us. Look at us when you're talking to us. Address us when you say you're speaking to me. Look at me, okay? Yeah, so I'll get off that soapbox. Crazy, right? But yeah, I'm probably gonna do this. Yeah, capitalism. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I just like to do my way. Like, I mean, I do have a sponsor. Believe it or not, I do. But I haven't said much about them. You know, a couple of times, and I think they're really important too. Believe it or not, and I bought food from them. It's Patriot Supply. I feel like you should be prepared, and you probably should buy Patriot Supply food, freeze dried or whatever it is, and you buy these big buckets, and it's good for a month each bucket. And I've got like 6 of them now. I got enough for me and my wife to eat probably 8 months just with that. So all you just need is water. Man, what, yeah, why don't sharks eat lawyers? Yeah, really, huh? Well, you know what you got when you got one lawyer in a big giant hole? A good start, right? That goes with congressmen too. Like I don't trust any congressman. In fact, if I wanted to be a millionaire, I'd run for Congress because that's the fastest way to be a millionaire. You can start doing insider trading and all kinds of stuff, right? Everybody starts buying you giving you money so that you'll vote certain ways, and they won't vote for anything we want, right? Even though they represent us, they sell us down the river all the freaking time. Yeah, MREs. That's the ones I get too. You know, they're my sponsor. Probably I should talk about them. You know, every once in a while because I think like uh, very soon. I've been saying it for 10 years. Man, I got a mosquito after me. He already bit my foot, but I think I seen him. I have a mosquito killer. Oh yeah, and it lights up. You know, so I zap those little buggers. Yeah, yeah. I want to get a salt gun, one of those salt guns, so I can like shoot the flies out here. And when I can't wait until it's like not bug season because I am so sick of. I feel like a freaking mosquito feeder, you know. And then I take because I have 4 heart stents on my heart, so I have to take blood thinners. So I'm like, you know, I'm like a coffee bar for these things, man. They just pop in, fill up in 2 seconds, and then they're gone. You know, they're good to go, like the original energy drink for a mosquito. There he goes, right there. Sorry about that. I probably should have used my thing. Yeah. When it hits him, it goes. Zzz. I love that part. You know, I think it's a fly this time, but it gets flies too. They're real fast. But in Olympia, Washington, that's pretty squatchy from what I understand, Winter. That's a good place to go squatching. Actually, any place in any place in the world probably is good to go squatching. Right now is squatching season, believe it or not. Ow, man. Okay, it got me on the foot. I should have put shoes on, but I have my flip-flops. It's an absolutely balmy 60 degrees out here. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. It's only been a couple of weeks. It used to be 95, at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm enjoying this right now. Really, I haven't talked to Kaiser in a while. I need to get with him. I do. I need to get with him. I know he's on X. Is that the new Twitter? X. But I haven't really been on Twitter or Truth or Rumble. The only thing I've been doing is watching YouTube videos on stuff my wife likes to watch. So, I haven't. She likes to watch these people that they go off the grid and they set up all their, and they're like sponsor whores. I mean, but like I trip out. They start a channel and they're spending their own money there, and you can tell that they're probably barely squeaking by, just like me. And then a year into it, and when you start following them, they have like 20,000 people, and next thing you know, they got quarter of a million people, and they're rolling in the dough. They got sponsors coming out the wazoo. Then they're buying heavy equipment, and people are giving them solar systems, and the batteries and everything. And they're getting it for free. Building big old huge, barnuminiums, and like, oh my gosh, it's crazy, crazy. And my wife's like, you need to be doing that. I would feel, I don't know, I don't feel right about it. Maybe you guys could talk me into it. I don't know. I don't think I'm that interesting. Maybe if I started doing the projects and I had that kind of finances to start projects like that, like a project I want to start is first the dually with a camper on it, so that I can go squatching and we can go out in the field and get a Starlink so that I could go live in the field and we all could go squatching together. I mean, that's my kind of idea. But yeah, see, I know Rumble, like there's a couple of people I follow on Rumble, and when I want to really get slammed with the truth, I go to Rumble. And that's why I created the Rumble channel, is because I learned Rumble is, they let you talk about anything. And Facebook gives me a hit almost every single video. And the weirdest thing, I think they already shadow banned me. I think they labeled me a long time ago. And they started shadow banning me like right off the gate. And every account I put up is like that. 300 subs, never posted anything. Aw, man, I'm so sorry about that, bro. Just know they're not gone. They aren't. They're more alive than you, man. When I passed, hey Judy, when I had a near death experience, and I thought it was a dream at first. I thought I was dreaming. Get out of my van, cat. Anyways, I thought I was dreaming, and I went to this really cool place, And when I was there, you could see every color on the light spectrum, or you could see all the light spectrum. You could hear all the sound spectrum. So we're limited here to a little tiny amount of light. You can only see so far. You can't see into ultraviolet or infrared, you know. You can see into every light spectrum over there. So what you see is undescribable. The colors, it's amazing, okay? And the smells, you can smell everything on steroids. And while I was over there, I was traveling around at the speed of thought, okay? All I had to do was think where I wanted to be at, and I was there. I didn't go to the earth. I was only looking at places where I was, and I would think, man, I want to check that out. And as soon as I thought, check it out, I was there. And then I was tripping out because I was there, and I was seeing and smelling things I never smelled. And then at one point I was up on top of a mountain. I seen these mountains and I thought, man, you know, I don't know if I'm dreaming or what, but I would love to check out those mountains. That's how I even got started. And all of a sudden, bam, I was in the mountains. It was beautiful. And I don't know how I was breathing, but I could smell. I was smelling these mountains. Hi, Judy. Yeah, I was smelling these mountains, and I love the mountain smell, and this mountain smell was amazing. And I just started turning like, whoa, just taking it all in, you know. And as I got behind me, I realized I was overlooking this valley that I started in. And the thought came to me that maybe I shouldn't have, that I was supposed to meet someone, right? So immediately I started thinking, it bothered me like, oh no, you know, here I am all the way over here, and I was supposed to meet somebody, and I knew I was. When I got over, then I thought I should have never left. As soon as I thought that, I was back, and there was these two light beings standing there. My size, maybe a little bigger than me. I knew they were human. I don't know how, you know, behind all that really bright light, I knew there was humans. But they started asking me questions, and it was about, am I done there? Or no, was I done here, where I am here? Am I done, you know? I was like, I don't know, you know, I don't know if I'm done. Let me put that, it's too bright back there. So I didn't know if I was done or not, you know. But then, you know, it made me start thinking about here. And when I started thinking about here, I realized, or I started knowing, and I don't know how you know. All you had to do is kind of ask a question or wonder about something, and the answer and the information that you need to know, just, you know, all of a sudden, you know everything you need to know. You even know people that you ran into, you know who they are, like you met them forever, but even though you never met them, I mean, it's crazy. And if you think about here and the loved ones you have here, you can see where they are and what they're doing. You have no concern for them whatsoever, because you also have the knowledge that where you are, they will also be. And it doesn't matter what happens to them. They could get ran over by a train, and it's good, because then they'll be with you. You know what I'm saying? They could even have a slow death, but you know it's good, because that was they wanted that. It's hard to explain, but you kind of choose what goes on with you. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like we know what our destiny is. It's like we chose our destiny before we even came here. Kind of, I don't, I know that it doesn't make sense hardly. I know what I'm saying doesn't make sense, but we do. And then over there, there's no time. Like I felt like I was there a long time. But the doctors told me after I came to in the surgery, after the surgery was over, they told me they had lost me twice, but only, 5 minutes or something like that is what they worked on me. Even though it felt like to me I was gone a year, right? I mean, did all this stuff and thought about all these things and seen all this, you know, and but I knew that my loved ones that were here was going to be there in not what would seem to me like a few minutes or a year or 10 years. I mean, I don't know, but it would seem like not long, and all my relatives, the ones I cared about, would be there. And I was more alive than I am standing right here. And I felt more alive than I am standing right here. So just know they're not gone. They are they're waiting for you. They're over there preparing to see you, which to them will feel like moments. I mean, they might live 5 lifetimes before you show up, but it'll seem like a few minutes. I mean, there's no time, so it's hard to comprehend what I'm saying, but that's how it is. That's how it is. And so don't even be concerned about what you lost here because you didn't really lose it. Because when you reunite, it's going to be I can't more than 1,000 times better than what you had here. Because we don't die. We really don't die. Our meat sack dies, but what brings animation and life to this meat sack, it lives on. It does not die. We carry on. So don't be concerned and don't let it get to you. They would be cheering you on right now, even though you can't see it. They can see you. When they think about you, they see you right where you're at, right what you're doing, and they'll be cheering you on like, go, dude. And when you're sad, they'll be like, what in the world? Live life, man. Go for it. Go for the gauntlet. Go for the brass ring, know that we're cheering you on. Know that we're behind you. Know that we are probably going to help you. They'll be going ahead of you and helping you, and you don't even know it, right? You don't know, but they are. And if we stay positive and we stay loving life and embrace everything, even that, then we'll live life way better. And I don't know if that made sense, and what really drove it home for me, like I knew all this information and stuff like that, and one of my very, very good friends was Richard Keel, Jaws, James Bond guy with the big steel teeth. I mean, he was a really good friend of mine all the way back, like the early 80s. I met him and I became his private cameraman for a little while and did some things with him. And I know his whole family, and we would hang out and do things. Yeah, Odie is watching you. In fact, he's preparing to meet you again. He's not dead. Odie's not dead. His meat sack, this fleshy stuff, that died. But what makes us, it doesn't die. Okay? So I used to hang out with Richard Keel, and we would go do all kinds of stuff. And he's like one of the nicest, bestest friends I ever had. And we used to talk about God and passing on and the afterlife, and because he had a car accident probably in the early 90s. I can't remember when, but he rolled over in his van. He did a rollover in his van, and he hurt his back pretty bad. And actually, after that, we hung out a lot more because I would drive him around and take him to the airport, pick him up, and go to events with him and help him. He would go sit somewhere and sign, autographs and stuff like that. And so we would go, but we would talk about the afterlife, and he always said he wanted to have a party. His funeral, he didn't want anybody crying, wanted everybody to celebrate that he went from the meat sack and the limitations and the pain and the suffering of here into the other realm where there's no pain, no suffering. You're healthy. Like, he could barely stand straight up. When he was young, he's 7'2", and when he was young, he would stand up, and I mean, it makes you feel like a midget, man. He would hold a Coke, like if he was holding this knife in his hand like that, this thing. Okay, he would hold it. You couldn't see this, right? I mean, he could put his hand on your shoulder, and his thumb would go halfway down your back, and his fingers would be wrapped around your chest. Like, he was a big dude. But when he finally passed, he was 71 or something like that, 70s. And when we went to not really his funeral, but we went to a party at the church of his choice. And when we showed up, we didn't see it. When you first showed up, you went inside, and he had written down everything everybody was supposed to say, and he had arranged for everything. And when we got in there was no crying allowed. It was a celebration, and he had bands lined up singing great songs, and everybody was upbeat, and he intended for it to be upbeat. And he had a message that told everybody where he was and what he was doing and why that we had to be upbeat. And it was great. I mean, everybody was laughing and smiling and having a great time, and it was kind of weird because we were losing our friend, but really we didn't lose him, and he understood that concept. Then when we were leaving, they said, okay, it's time to go outside. He has a surprise for everyone. And we got outside. There was tables and tables and tables wrapping all the way around the building, long 8-foot by 2-foot, 2.5-foot tables, like school lunch tables. And probably as many to fill a cafeteria with every dessert known to man. I'm not kidding. Ice creams, every kind of ice cream, like ice creams, ice kind of ice cream, cupcakes, every kind of cupcake, cakes, every pies, all the pies, pastries, candy bars, every kind of candy, all spread out, every kind of dessert, cobblers, everything. I mean, you couldn't even taste it all. You couldn't even try it all because there was so much. Even if you took one bite of one thing all the way down, you would not be able to, you would be full before you even got around the corner. And they were encouraging because they knew that. There's couple of hundred people there. It was more than enough for a couple hundred people, and they were encouraging everybody, here, take this home, take this home, take this home. It was off the chart, a great time, and that's when it really hit home to me, even though I knew all this stuff and I got to see the other side. I realized, I want everybody to party like that when I go, because actually it is a celebration. You're celebrating getting away from the limitations of this life and the hardness of it. And it's like we are learning something when we're here. We're supposed to learn something. And hopefully we all learn it and we don't have to learn it over there. Because I also know from being over there, if we don't learn what we're supposed to learn here, we still have to learn it. So, in order to go real far and actually be with Jesus as much as possible all the time, we have to learn to love people. We have to learn to forgive people. We have to learn not to hold a grudge. We have to learn to be generous and loving and caring even to our enemies. There is nothing here on this earth worth losing anything in that other realm. Nothing. I don't care what it is. It could be money, cars, things, time. There is nothing in this realm that is worth causing grief on the other side. Not one thing. Not one thing here. Even our own life. I would give it up if it meant that I was going to lose something on the other side and I had to give this life up for that. I give it up. I would give it up just for that. He keeps you here because you're not done. I wasn't done, and I had to come back, and I didn't understand either, but I did understand because there was things that I did here, or I was personal things in my mind, things I do that was going to hinder me on the other side, right? I had to learn to not hold grudges on certain people. I had to get over my hurts and forgive everyone and let it go, right? Let it go. Let it go. Don't get angry. Don't even stay angry for a second. It's not worth it. It absolutely isn't. Think about it this way. Would you want to be in the shoes of the person that hurt you? If they passed that moment, would you want to be in their shoes? Absolutely not. I would not want to be in their shoes because they have to answer for what they did, just like you have to answer for what you do and how you act and how you treat people. Not by how much money you accumulate, not by all the things that you have, not that stuff does not matter. It is all about what I'm talking about right now. It is all about relationships. And we want a relationship with God, but if we can't have a relationship here with people because of our little petty stuff, that hinders our relationship with him because he isn't like that. Like, think of it like this. He forgives us of everything. He doesn't remember anything. So why would he want to hang out with somebody that can't forgive anyone? Like, we're so glad that he forgives us and we get to go to heaven and he doesn't remember one bad thing. At the same time, though, we're holding this against our brother, or we're holding this against our friend or our neighbor, and we can't let it go. We should be more like him. That's what we're supposed to learn over here. We have to learn that. There is nothing in this world worth losing a relationship with our Creator. And the angels, they're even jealous. Good morning, Bobby. They're jealous. Hi, Renee. They're jealous that we have creativity and that we're in the image of God. Well, we're not really like the likeness. He created the thing that animates us, right? Our feelings, our creativity. The angels don't have that. They're this. And they have to be like that. The demons use us. They want to get inside people because why? Because we have creativity. We have things they don't have. And the only way they can manipulate those things are to use people to do it. And they would like everyone dead, then everyone learn that and have a relationship with the creator because they lost their relationship with them. So they want to kill us, right? They want us dead, no relationship. But they don't realize the only way they can do that is get us to turn away from love because that's what God is, love. I mean, if we can learn to love and forgive and forget, we're like God then because that's what he does to us. He loves us more than we even know. He forgives us and he forgets everything we did. So that like to be like him is to be like that. Just remember, they're not gone. Anyone that went before us, they're not gone. And when there's going to be a huge party when we show up over there, and they're getting everything prepared for us, and we'll have the best time in the ever with even some of our ancestors we never met, like greats, right? It's gonna be great. I love it, and I'll stop talking about it. It's just real passionate to me to learn that, and I know a lot of people they don't know this, and I try and teach my family, my kids and grandkids this concept, and it's kind of hard sometimes because they don't get it. They get hurt easy, and they want to be mad and stay mad. They want to. They want to stay angry and they want to get back at people and they want this stuff, and it's not good, it's not good for us. But anyways, that's what's going on. Okay, hold on. I need to do something. Let's see here. What do I do? Over here. I don't know what I did. Have it. There we are. Yeah, I got it. For some reason my nose is running and it's driving me crazy. Yeah. So, sorry about all that, you guys. I think it's important though, and that isn't what I intended to talk about, but that is so important for everyone that it's worth going on to a little soapbox or a tangent on that, because that's what's wrong with our world right now. Is that in fact our government and the media and all that they're trying to get us to play into hate, hate this and hate, be angry, fight each other, not not be angry at them for what they're doing. Be angry at me because I'm white, okay? And because I'm white, I'm supposed to hate everybody that's a different color, and the people that think they're a different gender than they were created to be, they are angry. They're supposed to be angry at all us people that aren't we're the gender we were created to be, right? I mean, like they're pitting everyone against each other. Don't look over here at us at what we're doing. We're killing you. We're poisoning your food and the air, and we're charging you for almost the air you breathe. And but don't look at that. Look at that. Oh my God, that he's racist. Like oh man, we should be fighting each other. That's what they're doing right now, and we need to love everyone, but we don't need to love them. We need to hold them accountable because they work for us. They forgot, or if they know, they don't want us to remember, and they work for us. It's not it's not us doing what they tell us to do. It's us telling them what to do. They've somehow switch the roles on us, and they want us to continue being obedient, and we should be ticked off, and we should be joining together and putting a stop to it, because there is so many of us. Even if a third of us could get together on one page and say stop and mean it, to where they know that the other 2/3 might join us when they start seeing that we're getting somewhere, they would run for cover. You get, just in our country, you get like 100 million people going after these guys with 200 million people watching. That 1,000 people or whatever, I mean, it's not very many, right? It's not many, but 400 congressmen and then whoever works for them. I mean, we're not talking about a bazillion people. We absolutely could scare the life out of them. I mean, they would be running like little cockroaches if we all could get together on this. But they keep us fighting over this stupid shit, and we'll never ever, hopefully we do one day, maybe as we learn the truth, the great awakening that we're in, and we're learning more, maybe we will start getting it right. I already got it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that's listening to me, you got it, and you have, like me, for already a decade. We already knew. And I've been talking about it for years, how we're being programmed by the programs on TV, right? We're being programmed. Man, zoom, zoom. But yeah, so relationship advice. Well, I haven't had a lot of relationships, like, you know, I've been married to the same woman for almost 46 years. In fact, I dated her in high school for 2.5 years before that. So nearly 50 years of the same person. All I can say is it's give and take. Okay, even with regular friendship relations, you don't use people. First of all, don't use them. Stay caring and loving and helpful and forgiving, and if they don't, then let them go. They have to learn it. But be the example, live your life how you should, right? Loving, caring, forgiving, generous. Walk the walk as you talk the talk. If you judge people by their actions, you'll never fall for their words, right? If you look at what they're doing, you'll never fall for that smooth talk, because you can see how they live, and you'll know if they're a little viper or if they actually are a good person. And that is how you do it. Just remember, there's two sides to everything, and sometimes you might have to give on something to keep a relationship. It's worth it sometimes to give, and if the people can't forgive and forget and go, let them go. It ain't worth losing something over on that realm. Because why I say that is, the day before I got hurt, okay, the day before I had my near death experience, I thought I made it, right? I worked for a casino, and I started at $8 an hour, and I worked my way up to the highest paid executive in the casino. I ran the computer department, I ran the marketing department, and I ran the food and beverage department. The only thing left was the maintenance department, the card room area, the slot area, and maintenance. I ran like a third of the casino. I was the highest paid guy because most guys only ran one department. I ran three of them, and I got paid for running three of them. And nobody could believe I even could do that, but I didn't even know I could do that. But it was so easy. I don't know. But okay, so I was making it right. I at 2 weeks before I got hurt, Steve Wynn from Las Vegas came to our casino and was I showed him around the property, and then he went and had meetings with the tribe and they went over the books. I wasn't in on that. I had the job to do, but they did have me drive him around the property, show him around, show him everything. And then later in the day, he wanted to drive up on top of a mountain and overlook the whole property, like 95 acres, whatever it was. So later in the day, almost before he left, while he had his private helicopter there giving rides to everybody, me and him went up on top of the mountain and was overlooking everything. And while we were riding in the car, he asked me if I wouldn't mind working for him. I was like, I don't have enough experience to work for you. I don't have a degree. I only have what I learned on the job. And I know, if you're going to go to Vegas, you're talking about a mega casino, at least for him, right? He owns like five of, at the time, he owned five of them, hotel casino complexes, right? I mean, huge. I mean, we're just a little casino compared to him. I mean, we're really a little casino. He tells me, "Well, I'm not hiring you for to be over one casino. I want you to be over all five casinos." And I looked at him and started laughing. Like, serious, dude? Really? Like, that is hilarious, right? I know I'm not qualified to do that. And then when we got on top of the mountain, he, like, before he started anything, he was like, "I want to explain something to you, man." He says, I just had a 3 hour meeting with the manager, the tribe, everybody, and I went over in detail the whole money of this casino and how it's done from the gate, from the time they open the doors until now. He goes, "When did you get hired?" I'm like, October, I can't remember the year. He goes, "When did you become a marketing manager?" And I tell him, probably like 3 months, 90 days after. He says, "I want to tell you, when you started, this casino wasn't doing well." He goes, "I'm only here because of you." I'm like, "What?" Like, that doesn't make sense. Because of me? Like, well, who am I? Like, what? He said, "Look at the numbers. Like, you need to go ask them for the numbers." I already knew, I could look at the numbers anytime I wanted. I already knew I set records, marketing in there, like Saturdays, for instance, Friday night, biggest night in the casino. Prior to me taking over the marketing, it probably the highest amount they ever made was like 30,000 on that night. By the time Steve Wynn and me and him were having a meeting, we were doing $250,000 in one night, 250,000. Saturday, like 275,000. So like we would knock down $500,000 in the weekend, which is almost $500,000 more dollars than they made in a whole month, right? I mean, they were lucky if they made 175,000 a month in this casino, and I was doing in a little casino like $1,400,000, something like that per month, and I knew that. And then he says, "Okay, so I want you to come to Vegas and run my 5 casinos and head up the whole marketing department. You don't got to worry about the food and beverage. You don't got to worry about the computers. I got it covered." I'm like, and then he offered me a number, salary number, and a house and a Ferrari. That was what went with the job. I was like, oh my God, a Ferrari? Like, I didn't know what to say. I said, really, man, dude, we're talking about one little bitty casino. You're talking about five. I don't feel like I could do that. He says, look, if you can do what you're doing here with the amount of money they give you on your budget, which is, I had to fight for every tooth and nail for every dollar to spend to make a dollar, right? If you could do that on hardly anything like you're doing, just imagine what you could do with a budget and a bunch of people under you to do it. It was like, that makes sense. It was like, okay, okay. I mean, I'll give it a try. If it doesn't work out, what's the worst that could happen, right? What's the worst? I'm back to the little casino, Like, what could be the worst that could happen? What could be happen that's best? Always go with your gut instinct and always go for the brass ring. We only live once. Make that decision. I don't care what it is. Make a decision and go for it. Be forgiving. Love everyone. Whatever you say, ooh, I got him. And I didn't even use my little thing, little sucker. Probably already ate me. But yeah, mean what you say what you mean, live life like that. And just remember, one day before I got hurt, that is where I was, okay? That is where I was. I was on my way to Vegas to go work for Steve Wynn. Anything can happen. And you could fall off. You could step out your front door and fall off the curb and hit your head, and your life will never be the same. You might not even be able to remember your family if you still live. Just remember, it only takes 1 second to change your life. One heartbeat. Have you ever thought about it? Like your heartbeat. When you're born, your heartbeat starts, right? Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. All your life, it's pumping. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. Whether you think about it or not, boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. We are only one heartbeat from eternity. All it has to do is stop. And we don't have any control over that. I mean, we could blow ourselves away and we could stop it if we want, but why, Live life to the fullest, plan for the worst, because it probably is going to happen, But live it to the fullest, because tomorrow might not be like today. You might wind up on top of the world today and then, in convalescent home tomorrow and not know who your name is, or what your name is. I mean, live life all the way to the fullest. Grab it with both hands and go for it and plan for the worst. So get that food, get that generator, stash it away, because if you get hurt, your family's going to need you to have planned for that. So live life like that, because one minute you could be like me, sitting and chatting with Steve Wynn about a way six-figure income with a Ferrari and a house and this huge job, and the next day you lose everything and you can't sue because you live in California and they cap the medical malpractice at 150,000. The attorneys just laugh at you. You can't sue the tribe because they are sovereign, and you can't. I mean, you absolutely lose everything. All you can do is trust in God and carry on and go for it. Okay? Okay, now I'll stop. I thought it is your gut that keeps you alive. It is when you're feeling it. That is your gut. It keeps you. I'm telling everybody to do that too. I don't even have the money to invest in silver. Like I was telling my wife, we need to buy some silver. She goes, with what? Like Good answer, right? Good answer. Everybody says, "Hey, get your money out of the bank," because you can. Yeah, well, okay. Oh well, what money? Good answer. Good answer. Wow, look at that. 11 likes, 11 people, 11, 11, and it's 1:10 and 17, 18 seconds. So in a minute, it's going to be 1:11, 11, 11. Yesterday, you want to hear something really trippy? Yesterday I woke up and it was 3:33 when I looked at the clock. It was like, whoa. And so then I did some videos and everything, and I went in the house and I was gonna get something to eat, and it was 11:11 when I looked at the clock. It was 11:11. Then I came back out and I was sitting here tooling this guitar strap, and my daughter. So there's 11:11:01. Now it just turned to 04. So it's 1:11, 11 seconds, 11:11. Weird. Then I looked at the clock and it was 2:22 when my daughter left, and she was going to the store and had my granddaughter, and I was looking, it was like 2:22. Then later I went in, my wife called me in for dinner, and I put my phone in my pocket, and when I got in there I took it out to put it down and then to go eat, and it was 444. So all day long I saw 333, 11:11, and then 2:22, and then 444 later. Like something's happening, right? And then I've been seeing that for a couple of years, but in the last, I would say 2 weeks, it's happening multiple times a day. Like before, it'd be once or twice a week, maybe twice a day sometimes, but still like 3 or 4 times a month. Not 3 or 4 times a day. Not 3 or 4 times a day. I think that's a trip, right? Really a trip. Yeah, and now it's at $25 only. Usually I don't have $25. I take care of people. So in lieu of having money, I take care of my family. Like I have two sisters, my mom, a nephew, my sister's grandkid, my daughter, her 3 kids, a great grandbaby, and me and my wife. And I take care of everybody. I mean, some of them have a little bit of income, but I'm the lion's share of it, and so I'm the guy that takes care of them, and so I really don't have it. I mean, yeah. See, it's still 11:11, 11 people, 11 likes. That is tripping me out. I feel blessed that there's 11 people listening to me rant and rave about stuff that I think really matters, though. Yeah, triple numbers. We're coming to something now. We're coming to something. I've been telling my daughter, I feel it, like we're getting ready. I think God's coming on the scene. I really do. God wins. I don't think it, Sometimes I feel like I was wondering, this is going to sound really weird, and it has anything to do with Squatch or anything, but sometimes I wonder if we're not being set up by the Trumpster and those guys. Could they be a different wing of the same bird? So you have one wing, they're bad, the other wing, so no matter which one you choose, you're still choosing the same. And really, we should be choosing God. And God's going to trash that bird and both wings. I don't think we should be putting our full faith in. I mean, we should cheer them on and hope God and pray God it isn't the same bird with two wings. But I believe God is the one bringing this, like the med beds and the wealth transfer, which I believe is really happening. He showed me something the other day, and I was in the car, and my car's not running right? I need to get my car fixed. I don't have the money, but God takes care of me. I don't have to ask anyone for anything. All I have to do is ask God, and the money will be there. So, like this time, it's happened several times. But this time, my wife's like, "Oh no, we don't got the money. How are we gonna do it?" It's like we're gonna ask God. She's like, you know, whatever. I'm telling her no, we're gonna ask Him, and so right there, I asked God. I don't have the money. I don't know how to get the money. But I know He has the money, and He could make the money available to me the very next day. The Social Security made a mistake on my Social Security, and they put $2,000 in the bank. And then I'm like, no, they made a mistake. You know, they didn't make a mistake. They did make a mistake, and they're making it right. And they gave me $2,000, and I got my car fixed. But that day, after I asked for that, I take my grandson to school, and I'm sitting at a light, and I see this Corvette go by. And I mean, it's the new one and the mid-engine, mid-car engine. I'm like, man, back in the day, I would have bought me that. Okay? I would have bought that. And I could have bought that. But right now, that is like so far out there from me that it's like a dream, right? Like before, I could have bought it. Now, that isn't even in the freaking choices, right? So I'm sitting there thinking about that, and then God talks to me, and you guys might think I'm way off, but I'll be praying, and so actually that's what I was doing is I was praying, and I was praising God. Somebody just pulled up, but I was praising God, and I see the Corvette, and I stop for a minute. I'm like, man, I would love that Corvette. If I had it still, I would be buying that Corvette. And then God put it in my brain. Well, you fail to have anything because my people fail to have anything because they don't ask, and they're always concerned about their needs. So you're always praying about your needs, but only really I have your needs covered. You'd be thanking me for taking care of your needs because I already have it covered. Look at the birds. They don't need anything because I take care of it and they don't work. I was like, whoa. So I started praising Him for that. Like, okay, I would love to have, God, I would really love to have that Corvette. And I started feeling bad, like, wow. I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't ask for a Corvette. I'll ask for a truck, a used truck. And so I'm asking for a used truck. But out of my mouth comes new truck. I'm like, wait, no, that's not what I was going to say. But why did it say new? Why did I say that? So then I was going to say, I didn't mean new, I meant used. But then what came out of my mouth was, and a new home. It was like, I shut up right there. It was like, that wasn't in my brain. I'm going to say, not a new truck, a used truck. How did a new home come out? Like that wasn't even in my thoughts. But yeah, that happened to me. That isn't even really Biden, guys. He's dead. He's gone. If you believe that's Biden, you need glasses. That ain't him. Take a look at some of the old Biden pictures, and then look at this new Biden. It ain't the same person. Hi.
Hi, you remember me? Yeah. Came to see Steve.
Yeah, so I got some visitors. I'm gonna have to go, you guys.
Oh, sorry. You want me to go around?
No, you can come by. If you don't mind being seen by like 11 people.
No, you're good.
Look at that little cutie, huh?
You doing one of your shows?
Yeah. Yeah, me too, man. The guy's a jerk. Look, it's 12:12. What a trip. Okay. Anyways, wow. I guess I don't have to stop. I don't have to stop, but I probably should. The nature is calling. Yeah. Hi, kids. Yeah. Yeah. Like, do I remember you when you were 3? I remember her when she was 3. I don't remember having a baby though. What a trip, huh? These people come in and they're all old, older, kind of scary. But yeah, so that's my thing with God. That's another thing to remember. God has your needs. Absolutely, hands down, knows everything about you and what you're going through. Ask Him to put you on the path in the morning that He created for you, that He has intended for you. Thank Him for meeting all your needs. And then at night, thank Him for putting those people or those, whatever happened that day, even if you don't think anything happened, it did. Somebody was paying attention to how you live and how you talk and what you do. So even if you don't think anything happened, something happened and God has you, right? Just remember that, and just remember God has you. And then ask for the things you want, because we fail to ask for what we want, and we never have what God has for us because we don't ask. And usually it's better than what we could get on our own. Man, it really does, man. Time flies. Like just this year, can you believe we're already coming to the end of September? Like this summer flew, and I thought it was going to go really slow. Usually when you're down, you can't do anything. You have to lay around and stuff like that. Usually that makes time go so slow because you're just laying there trying to get well, and it makes time go slow. But really, it seemed like the months just ticked off to me like quick, like it was like I just seen the doctor, and then it was like time to see the doctor again. It's like amazing how fast everything's been zipping through this year. Well, He'll give us what we need, and normally we're praying for what we need. Oh Lord, I'm not have enough money this month. Give me a little money. I don't have enough month to money at the end of the month for this and this and this, and I need. He has it. He said He has every need, every need. We don't even have to ask because He already knows what they are. Just thank Him. We don't have what we want, not need, want, because we don't ask. And we could ask for a used one, something to get us by, or we would love to have, we would want this. He will give you anything you want. And there's people on here that God uses all the time. I mean, Captain Bob, I always wanted a drone. Captain Bob bought me a drone. I never asked for the drone or anything. He just thought it would be a good idea for me to have a drone. I have one of the best drones going. Camera gear. Again, people on YouTube helping me. You guys are generous. I love you guys. I appreciate every one of you. You don't even realize God's using you to bless me. I mean, I have camera gear that I couldn't afford. I cannot afford. But because I need it, it comes. When I started doing the leather, I could afford only the basic tools, and they costed me $100, and my wife threw a hissy fit because I spent $100. Then one of my friends that I met through this platform, he's a friend. I mean, you guys are all friends. That's how I see you, not just somebody that pays attention is watching my thing. You guys are my family and friends. I mean, so me and my wife are having an argument, I needed a certain tool to make belts that I can cut them out of a half of a side, half a cow side of skin hide, instead of buying them already pre-cut, which costs an arm and a leg. And I could buy a side of leather and get all these things out of it and way cheaper. Even though it costs more to buy the side of leather at one time, I it'll for a year, I'll be making projects out of a side of leather. But I could cut my own belts out of it, everything. But I needed this tool. It was $29. My wife's giving me a bad time. So I'm gonna go get some things at the leather shop I needed, but I'm not gonna get this tool that I need for $29. But I got over there and I bought it anyways. And when I got home, I didn't tell my wife, like, shh. I didn't tell her because I want to make belts, so I'm not gonna buy any more pre-cut belts. I'm gonna make my own, cut them out. I didn't tell her. And then when I get home, she's like, hey, there's the big box on the table. I'm like, cool. And I went over there and I opened it up. It was every leather tool you could want. It didn't have a strap cutter though, but it was all the tools, stamps, knives, measuring, even a apron. I mean, cutting things. I mean, everything except a strap cutter. And one of you guys, he knows who he is. I don't know if he wants me to say his name. Seen that I was making leather and knew I can't afford that stuff and sent me a full on leather shop. And I had asked God for all the things to make leather. I asked God to bless every single one of you for your generosity 100 times beyond your generosity. You guys have blessed me beyond measure. You have no idea that your generosity, how much it blesses me. And you probably have no idea how hard I pray that you be blessed beyond measure for those things all the time. But I don't usually talk about this, but I want you to know that these are not needs that I'm talking about. These are things I want. Not because I need, it's because I want to make content or I want to do leather or I could go on. There's more things that I've been blessed with and money from my family that I have on the other side of this lens. But I want you to know God could use any way or anyone to get this want to you. And you don't have to ask. I don't have to go on here and ask. I just have to ask God in private, me and him. And then those things show up. And I do it to my wife all the time. She's like, I need that. And it's things she wants. I'm like, have you asked God yet? She goes, I don't see, God's not going to pay attention. Like, really? What about this? I could go on, right? Like, hello? Like, I'm living proof. Like, please start asking God, right? Please start asking him and quit crying about it. Please. Honestly. Yeah, so. Hey, Digger. Ooh, yeah. It says message held view message. What is it? It says, oh, somebody put, I gotta let. Are you serious, Sam, on YouTube? Like, hide. You got a lemon stuck up here. You know what? It's because you're a jerk. And God could say you're a jerk. I could tell you that. I don't feel bad. I don't have any bad thing. You can do whatever you want on YouTube, but you know what? You're a jerk. Put that crap on there. Like, knock it off, dude. But go ahead. You can put more messages if you want. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't affect me. But might change your ways, man. Going the wrong way. Hi, Lisa. But anyways, whoops. I don't know what I'm doing. What, man? Oh, I'm going back. Man, Mark, you're too generous, my friend. I mean, you're too generous. Hi, Carrier. How's it going, man? Did you see my climate? Yeah, I did. I don't believe in climate. I mean, I believe in climate change. Okay, there is climate change. It's from the sun. There's been climate change for 1,000,000 years. I mean, just only a few hundred years ago, there was glaciers everywhere, right? I mean, the ice has been melting for a long time, so there is climate change. I believe that the powers that be that have new technology, they are using it to scare us and to poison us, and they are causing climate change too. They figured out how to steer to cause droughts and stuff like that. I think they're going to pay for what they do, though. A lot of what we're seeing now is man-made climate change, not made by us though. Breathing and farting, okay? That's not that's not us. It isn't from cows. That's all a bunch of bull crap. If you know what I mean. Yeah. But yeah, there is climate change. It's been happening, but only they're enhancing it, and it isn't from us. It isn't because we drive cars. You know, it isn't none of that. Like me and my grandson was asking me about water the other day. There's a water shortage. I go, really? Really, there's a water shortage? Where did it go? Where did the water go? Told him, that, like, you see that fish tank over there? I mean, the water does evaporate, but it evaporates into the air right here. We actually live like in a little tank, but it's all enclosed. The water can't evaporate out of it. Okay, it didn't go anywhere. It's all here. In fact, that bottle of water you're drinking could have been dinosaur pee. He's like, what? Yeah, like everything that we have came from the earth, and we can maybe mess it up for a little while, but we're not killing the earth. Okay, that would be like a flea floating down the river with a heart on, yelling, "Raise the drawbridge!" Right? I mean, are we that full of ourselves that we think that we're that big, or great? No, we're not killing the earth. I'm sorry, it's not happening. And then they try to program us here in America that we're polluting everything, right? No, we're not. We're probably the cleanest country in the world. When they talk about the island of plastic, that didn't come from us. That might have came from a tsunami in Japan that wiped out, washed everything off. I mean, in the other countries, they throw everything in the river and it goes out to sea. We don't. We don't do that, but we pay for it. Okay, we pay for it. They don't. They don't pay for it. We pay for it. We get accused of it. We're the bad guy, and we believe it, right? Most of America suck that crap right up and own it. Like, serious people, serious. You're the flea with a heart on, floating on your back down the river, yelling, "Raise the drawbridge!" Right? Yeah, like you're that big, right? Come on, yeah. I'm sure they have the dew weapons. I think the fire that we had up here. Okay, so forest fires. It burned up Squatch land. My Squatch land. The biggest fire before this fire that was around 50,000 acres was a huge fire, right? This fire was 545,000 acres. It was 100 times bigger than any fire we ever had. It burned for miles and miles and miles. You could drive for 3 hours in our mountains and not come to the end of that burn. You know they were enhancing that with weapons. The one in Canada, don't tell me that all of Canada was burning up on its own. I'll never believe that. Ever. You can't make me believe that. It never happened in history, and it isn't because of climate change. It's because they've been spraying crap that gets on the trees that we breathe in, and then it kills the trees, and then bark beetles come in like, they're like, the bark beetles are killing all the trees. Like, no, it isn't. The trees are already dying because they have clogged the roots up with these heavy metals, and the tree can't get the water. The beetles can't even get to the tree unless it's compromised. A healthy tree they can't even get to. So the trees are already compromised. Then the beetles come in and then they expand because all the trees are dying, right? They're all compromised from here to Canada and back and probably beyond. And then they let it go a few years and they let a whole bunch of it die. And then they start fires, right? And then we have, and then they don't manage the forest like they used to have burns every year and burn all the stuff down. Well, now they stop the fires very quick and they don't clear the forest or let it, and it builds up and builds up. Now, dead trees and built up underbrush and stuff created the most intense fires ever. That was planned. That was planned. The whole thing was planned. They did it. We need to wake up. We need to put our foot down. We need to stop these idiots. Like, they're idiots, but they're getting their way right now, and we're letting them. We're letting them. We're letting them. We let them spray and spray and spray, and then we go out. Look at all them chemtrails, right? Oh man, they're spraying all that shit. When are we gonna say stop? When are we all gonna say I don't want my grandkids to die from that or have diseases? My wife's like, oh man, I'm not gonna eat this and drink this anymore. I'm like, really? We were drinking it and eating it for years already. We don't. Let's not worry about us. Let's worry about our kids and grandkids, great grandkids. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. Let's get together and stop this, right? Let's stop it. Please. Actually, the redwoods need fire. I learned that when I lived in Yosemite. They have little bitty pine cones with the littlest teeniest seed. In fact, me and Richard Keel used to talk about that. He used to tell me that the redwoods are the most intimidating thing to him. They're like the tallest thing on earth. And when he got by him, it put him in his place. He felt small. But then he would hold the little seed of a sequoia that was minute in his hand, and this little small thing was going to create this huge giant sequoia. When he did his movie The Giant of Thunder Mountain, he had that in mind. And in fact, I have a picture on my YouTube of me standing on a ladder over his shoulder, and he's holding the seed of a giant sequoia, and he's showing it to his daughter. That's his real daughter. And we're standing next to a giant sequoia, and we're getting this perspective from his perspective down to this little seed and his little daughter standing next to a sequoia. Well, a sequoia seed can't even, the pine cone won't even let the seeds out unless there's fire. It has to take a certain amount of heat, and it has to be a fire to release the seeds. Otherwise, they won't germinate. They won't come out of the pine cone. I mean, that's an interesting thing that a lot of people don't know. Yosemite, they saved the valley, but all around it, like, is burned. even the Sequoia National Park is burned. It burned all the way up to the big trees at Sequoia, and one of our we call it the spot where we go where the Bigfoots come to us, right? They come to us. We don't have to go out there and do anything really. We just have to show up and start camping. They come to us for the last 10 years, easy. But that all burned up too. Burned. Burned. Everything's burned. Burnt for days. You go on my YouTube channel here, you can go and look. It's called the Creek Fire video. I document it from one side of the canyon, this side, like the north side of it, and then the south side of the river canyon, same river canyon. I go and document the other side, miles and miles. Like that one's called Kaiser Loop. But both sides, we went on both sides and document this whole thing. I flew the drone around and miles and miles and miles and miles of burn. I can imagine what Canada looks like. Yeah, I remember they were wrapping them in foil. I started cracking up. Yeah, so there's redwood trees that you can walk into them because they burn in a fire, and their inside is hollow from the fire. You can look up in there, and it's burned all the way up, and but the bark is worth the life that gives life to the tree. So the tree is huge, like I don't know, as big around as a house. Probably holds 50,000 or 5,000 lumber feet or something like that inside this tree. Even with the inside of it burnt up about 20 feet, but there's still 200 and some odd feet of lumber in that tree that's good, and then branches that are as big as the biggest pine tree coming off the side of them. They're tremendously big. But yeah, and when they wrapped it with foil, that cracked me up. Like, you can't kill a redwood, a giant sequoia with fire. They need fire. They like fire. They embrace fire. In fact, that's what God does to us. Did you know that? Like, our life is like we're like a samurai sword, but we start off like Mark would understand this. Like, you start off with this little piece of dirt, and you add some things to it and mix it all up, and then it hardens into metal, and then that metal's just like looks like a rock, and then you start refining it. Well, God starts refining us, and He puts us in the fire, and then He pulls us out, and first He melts us, right, and then molds us into a piece of steel. Then He starts heating it up, and then pounding it, and then plunging it in the water, and then heating it up and pounding it and plunging it in the water, and we start taking shape over our life. And then by the time we get our age, older, we start becoming the finest, sharpest sword, because God shaped us into that. We become something that can cut through life like no other time in our life, because God pounds us and heats us and then plunges into the water and then heats us up and pounds us some more, and we finally become this beautiful, fine, sharp sword where we could deal with life. And that's how we could take care of everyone, because we've been pounded and shaped into this great sword. Yeah, God showed me that one. I didn't get that on my own. God showed me that one. Yeah. But I always think of it too when I start going through something where I feel like I'm getting pounded. And I think, oh, He's helping me become that sharp sword that I'm going to be, or I am. And the more He hones me and pounds me and shapes me and forms me, helps me get through life. And so, well, anyways, man, I've been rambling. I don't even know how long. Feels like a long time. I need to sit down, I think, but I sure am enjoying this. I'm going to do this a lot more. I'm not going away, okay? I probably won't. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I really don't care. It's just going to be me and visiting with you guys, and we'll talk about whatever we talk about. 106 minutes, really? I have the prayer channel. God finally released me to do that. Only, like, I pray all the time, and He released me to turn it on, but only I don't have a topic. And I think it's going to be something along the lines what I just talked about, the sword. And he's been showing me, maybe I should save it for that, but he's been showing me how to pray to effectively stop things going on in our life, our family, and our house, and how to teach that or share that with everyone. And that's what the prayer part is. See, I didn't have a direction, but he's slowly teaching me about that. So I am going to be putting on some videos on that, and that's going to be the only topic we talk about is prayer on that one. But anyways, you guys, it was fun. I got to go take my meds. Even though, like, God has me, God gave us meds. Like, don't be stupid and stop taking your meds. The meds keep me alive, and I know it. And God told me take them, even though some of them are intended to kill you. He told me that we can eat or drink anything. We could be bit by a poison snake that could kill us, but nothing can kill us if it ain't our time. And if you trust Him, all these things will not kill you or hurt you. So whatever was intended for to help you, it will help you, and He won't let it kill you. Right? He's the only one that can kill you. In fact, He could kill the actual animated part of us that lives on after this meat bag dies. He's the only thing that could kill our spirit. So we should be respecting that, dude. But anyways, I gotta go take my meds, and I love you guys more than you know, and I'm gonna keep praying for you, and I will see you real soon. You guys have a really great couple of days, because that's all I'm gonna give you before I come back. Okay? I might even be back tomorrow morning. Anyways, we shall see you. It says, "Are you sure you want to stop streaming?" Yeah.